I understand a lot of corporates works on an annual profit and loss accounting principle. It doesn't mean your brand finishes in 365 days. Your brand needs to be youth friendly to move forward. And that is where your contemporary pieces of marketing will come out. You do a same TV commercial in a TikTok form, it doesn't make any sense. You will just lose your audience. Making a biscuit in Sri Lanka versus making a biscuit in India are two different cost profiles. So if you want to win in that market, probably that proximity and ground advantage, you need to take it.
How do you get that insight? How do you develop a product based on that insight, and how do you test whether that works or not? Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Change the Conversation. Today I have another inspiring business leader, a marketing leader with us. I have the group marketing head, Milinda Weerasinghe, with us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi Shashri, nice having you here.
Likewise, and thank you so much for making the time as well. So me and my crew on the way here, we were talking about Maliban and how we all grew up with Maliban, and even our parents enjoyed Maliban as well. I believe it's been 6 decades now?
Yeah, 7.
7, okay. How has things changed over the years in terms of consumer consumption patterns? You have the loyal consumers such as myself and the Gen Zs coming in. How have things changed, and how are you managing both those consumer segments?
Okay. So before starting, I'll ask a quick question from you. When you coming towards Maliban, what was your initial thought about Maliban?
To be honest, chocolate biscuit. I don't know why. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
I think something I can trust. I believe so. Yeah.
So I'll start from there. I think what we have been standing for the last 7 decades as very much of an undisputed brand who can really trust on its quality. So that's the ethos that Maliban has been standing by for the last 7 decades. It's very difficult. It's 70 years of excellence in quality. So this has happened for a reason. I'll start a small story. I found the chairman when he starts this business in a small scale, and now it's a massive company. The main theme behind was you should not be giving any biscuit out of this company which your child can't consume. Right. So that's a very powerful statement to make by a local entrepreneur who's having like a many years of a vision where this company needs to go. So we have been living by that for the last 7 decades, and no one in this organization structure are not bound to it. Everyone's aim is to create that. So that's how we live by the last 7 decades, where our consumers have been changing. We know, I mean, in the market of FMCG, or particularly in food and beverages, people change very fast. Your taste palettes get older when you go beyond a certain level of threshold. But I think at every change stage, Maliban has been owning the true fact of being a quality product and being a trustworthy product, which is a food product requires that first of all. So that has been the base case for us. But you know, for this country, Maliban has been the first, also the pioneer in the biscuit brand. So today, what we eat, the gold maries, the nice lemon puff, cream crackers, all have been innovated by Maliban at first case. So over the several years, we have been giving our consumers the chocolate biscuits what you like, and you know, lemon puff to nice. All the biscuits, which are, some of them are international quality or international names, which have been come here as a local brand, and some of them are local jewels. So long term, we have been stuck to our quality as a motto. That's where we have been.
Cool. Yeah, quality, end of the day, wins. So I know, and everyone knows Maliban as this biscuit, massive biscuit brand and so on. But over the years, you guys have extended into other portfolios and verticals as well. But there's a marketing thought that question whether you should extend your brand into other verticals. But you guys have done it successfully across tea and so on, even cereals. How have you navigated that? And what are the potential that you see in those verticals as well?
Yeah, I think it has to start from the brand, right? Some of the brands that we see in the market cannot get expanded to many verticals, right? But when you say Maliban has successfully moved into multiples, right? For example, milk. Maliban milk is one of the biggest brands for us. Maliban tea, and all of our biscuits are under the Maliban umbrella, and it continues, right? So why is particularly we have started from biscuits, then moved to milk, and then tea and malt, etc. So one strategy was we have been chasing behind the adjacent categories always. So when you look at it from the consumer's consumption point of view, you have a biscuit, then you have it with tea, then you have it with tea with milk, etc., etc. So chasing behind that adjacent categories have been successful from consumer point of view. Then you come to the trade point of view, the adjacent category expansion works behind us. And then, of course, we need to be in the top contributing FMCG food and beverages segments. Now, just a fact that in the whole FMCG market, about 60 to 65% is represented by food and refreshment. Okay. It's big.
Yeah.
And one of those top categories are, the milk powder, biscuits, tea, chocolates, etc. So we have been present in the top contributing FMCG categories, and we have been always number one or be the best case number 2 at all the time. So that is how we have been working. Yeah. Strategy is simple, but execution is a bit tough because your brand has to get expanded into many categories. So your brand ethos have to get stand by all categories to be true. Otherwise, it won't get a believable product or a brand under a certain category. So that's our ways of operating as of now.
Cool. Let's talk a bit about the innovation side. See, innovation is a loosely thrown word out there, right? But now we talk about consumer-centric innovation. What does that mean to you? How do you get that insight? How do you develop a product based on that insight, and how do you test whether that works or not? Can you take me through that process at Maliban here?
Yeah. So here, the word innovation is a very common word. You call it when you change a packaging. Some people call it's innovation, and we have launched an innovation. Yeah. But in Maliban, we have 2 dimensions. One is whether it's a pure invention. Have you found it like a very new to the category, very new to the country, or new to the world kind of a proposition? Is call us by invention. Sure. Then you have the innovation part. Innovation means you do like the improvement going through your portfolio. So second part of innovation, throughout it happens, as I said, people grow along with your product. Food and beverages products are really needs that innovation cycle of keep on improving, because it's a staple at the end of the day, or your 4th, 5th meal of definitely what we will provide. Right, so you need all improvements coming through your products. But inventions are something that we are really focusing on. Maliban owns the Zellers brand as well as our chocolates brand. So in this country, you find biscuits, you find chocolates, but you don't find chocolate and a biscuit together. You have cream biscuits, but you don't have a chocolate and a biscuit together. So we have invented a biscuit layered on top of a chocolate, so that it's a new experience. Probably it is hard to copy, but it's a value addition to the market. So that's where I believe a market can grow further, because innovations will keep roll on, and it'll add value to your business, but a sort of a very short term. But inventions take you through. I mean, take the example of how Apple innovated, how Nike innovated. It's not an innovation, it's inventions coming through. So that's the journey we are trying to chase. And we've been quite successful doing some things.
You also touched on market growth, and us as marketers know the role branding plays in that growth. I'm going to put you in the spot. Ask you the question: the age-old debate of brand building versus performance marketing. I'm sure as a marketer, you walk into that room filled with sharks asking, was that campaign effective? Especially coming from the sales teams and so on. How do you strike the balance between brand building and performance marketing or driving sales and so on? How do you find that balance?
So, very short answer for that. To do performance marketing, you need a brand. If you don't have a brand, you can't do a campaign on it. So to work a campaign, you have to have a strong brand within you. I mean, we know a lot of brand. For example, take Maliban itself. A brand built on ages, on a same consistent manner, then you should be able to do a performance driving campaign or a short-term sales driven campaign. But imagine vice versa. If you don't have a brand, then you do a campaign, but what are you relying on? You will rely on a one shock of a sale, and then what does it do to you? It doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm a firm believer that long-term brand building is a way that we need to continue. I understand a lot of corporates works on an annual profit and loss accounting principle. It doesn't mean your brand finishes in 365 days. Your brand continues. So strong brand building is required, essential. But when it comes to addressing certain dimensions in the market or certain trends, now for example, a lot of brands have been built over the years, but what happened during COVID or what happened after the COVID when the money crunch came in the market? A lot of brands started talking about price, the value, the portion size of the cost of portion size, what they eat and what they drink. So that has been able to do because you had a brand, right? Otherwise, if you do not have a brand, then you speak about a very functional element and it doesn't link up to something else. And now we see the trend that people are looking for brand values back again. Now the dimension is changing back again. Now, if you were doing only tactical marketing parts, then when people seek a brand to be aspired to, then where do you get in touch with? You don't have, hands and legs to again go back to your base.
Yeah.
So long-term brand building is a base, and it certainly helps over time to gain your penetration or your loyalty. But certainly tactical marketing or performance marketing campaigns require to navigate the waves. Now, if you don't navigate that waves, probably your brand building will come to a halt as well. So strike a balance, but your base has to be very strong with brand building.
There's a word that you mentioned in there on trends, marketing trends and so on. I know you have a big team that you manage and talk to on a daily basis. What are some of the trends that you're seeing? Of course, you don't need to let the cat out of the bag. You can talk about some of the older trends that maybe you acted on. Anything that you can share that you're seeing, the changes in the market, what consumers are receptive to in terms of communications and so on?
Yeah. So I think first of all, what I see is the youth orientation in the market is having a big swing. Youth started making a lot of decisions even at the age of even teens plus youth. I have started making a lot of decisions. Why it is? Because a lot of propositions now in the market are also appealing to youth or later teens or youth, because they start making decisions. They are privy to a lot of information. The decision-making funnel or consumer journey is highly influenced by the youth. So whichever the brands that are being working in the market, I'm sure they have found out that your brand needs to be youth-friendly to move forward. And that is where your contemporary pieces of marketing will come out. So that is a big wave that I see. even if I look at Maliban, the ways of working, now we are more going into a youth orientation because that's where we want to pitch our brand for the next 100 years.
On that point of view, your team comes to you, your agencies come to you and pitches a proposal or a campaign. What do you look for to give that campaign every chance of succeeding? What do you look for in terms of a proposal or campaign coming through?
Okay, so basics remain same. Although the youth orientation happen, it doesn't go a fly high. First of all, I will always seek for a very rational insight. So your insight is very global, right? Your insight, it doesn't mean it's a category. It can be biscuits, it can be milk, it can be tea. But your insight of your consumer is very, deep rooted and a very rational, and commonly it's very general. So we'll have to really understand whether they have carved out the insight properly. That is very important because from there everything will start. Second fact is that what I'll always look for is whether that brand can stand by it. So for example, can brand say about it, and can that brand do something about it? Now, for example, I was saying about the strong insight, and then can a brand stand? So can brand say about it, and can a brand do something about it, right? For example, now we'll take Maliban Kiri, the Maliban milk brand. So we have a program called Maliban Abedana. Now, it came like 8-10 years back, and we are strongly continuing it forward. So why do we continue? Because it has a strong insight of that, Maliban Kiri is all about nourishing and inspiring the kids mainly and around the family. So then it's all about you do something good around it, and you stand by to do and give back to the society as well, right? Then when you take it, can brand say something about it, about Abedana? So Abedana program is all about, we release cattle from slaughterhouses on a monthly, on a weekly basis, because we believe that, the milk is, being coming from the cow, and you have to save and do good about it. And that is a fact in Sri Lanka, which is a deep-rooted fact in Sri Lanka, that you can't kill an animal, and particularly a cow. In any religion, it doesn't permit. So the brand stands to say something about it because we are in the category. We are working with that back end of the cattle and the farming community. And also, can brand do something about it? Yes, it can do something about it by protecting them, giving them a longer life, right? So that is the framework we probably needs to adapt to in framing the proposal or the pitch that is being worked out. I mean, execution, creativity, or any other touch points that you expand your campaign can then roll on, because it's very true to your brand. And probably we always call that campaigns are being copied. So if a campaign is strongly based on an insight and it says and do what it's true to the brand, it's very hard to copy. And that is probably the first thing I will look at.
So now I've asked you about the proposal aspect of things. Now, as a leader, what do you ask from your team? Your marketing professionals working under you in terms of skill sets, knowledge, and so on. What are you honing down on these days?
First of all, I'm asking them to enjoy their job. You really have to enjoy the job of marketing, because you have to work with entire company to take marketing organization forward. So it has to be an enjoyable job, otherwise you come to a standstill. But in textbook form, right, it matters because they have to be consumer centric. They have to be we always say they have to be the eyes and ears of the consumer. But my only filter is that they have to be the right eyes and ears of the consumer. They have to bring the right information inside and take out the right information or your marketing proposition out. So that's a big responsibility. You have to have that skill of, balancing and understanding the right point out of the 1,000 information pieces that is coming to you. So that's very important for them. Second thing is what the new marketers that I really encourage them is to understand the platform expertise, right? So when it comes to platform expertise, it can be trade platform, it can be media platform, it can be digital platform, or even outdoor, right? So I've read somewhere that if you don't understand the platform of you are going to operate, 50-60% goes on waste, because you pitch a general idea for a very unique platform. Take it digital. You do a same TV commercial in a TikTok form, it doesn't make any sense. You will just lose your audience, but you will just keep on spending money. To do something on an activity like in a modern trade format, and it doesn't do same thing on the general trade, it doesn't make any sense. You have to customize the platform. So they have to possess the platform understanding. Thirdly, the prioritization. Because as marketers, you have endless things to deliver, but you are restricted with certain resources like financial or human resources, and even in media, sometimes a media itinerary. You are confined with that. So you have to really prioritize and pick what is moving the needle for you. So mainly, I think they have to be very decisive, and also they have to enjoy doing it.
Great advice from a seasoned marketer. My final question is about Maliban's growth ambitions. I know Maliban International is an entity that drives the export side of things. What has happened so far? What is your approach to international marketing? Some of the challenges you're facing with that as well, if you could share your view.
Yeah. So Maliban's growth ambition probably goes beyond these national boundaries. That's what we are really banking on from probably last year onwards, because growth inside an particular geography is very tough, and Sri Lanka being an island, the growth comes in a very, very small pieces. So international marketing is, of course, that most of the companies are focusing on, but the way that Maliban wants to approach international marketing is very different. So you mentioned about exports. Exports is more of a trading. You don't do marketing there. You do sale oriented product placement there. But when you do international marketing, then you need to think about not just communication. Some of the industries we have seen, they do communication only, but product comes from Sri Lanka source. So when you do that international marketing, it's very important your entire marketing mix is very competitive. For example, making a biscuit in Sri Lanka versus making a biscuit in India are two different cost profiles. So if you want to win in that market, probably that proximity and ground advantage, you need to take it. So we believe in that principle because of the nature of our industry. So recently, probably the announcement will come soon that Maliban signed with Reliance Consumer, India's biggest FMCG retail arm, as confectionery partner. So that is not just by sending our biscuits there, we manufacture in India soil for India. So we have a pipeline of about 10 to 12 product lines to come through in the next 6 months. And we have already launched 2 products in the market. So it's in India and it's made in India for India. And the communication is done in India for India. So that is the principle that we follow. Plans are such to expand another 3 to 4 sites in the globe because you have to be in the market and to really understand that. So we deploy our teams, we deploy our resources, but the only central point is that the knowledge and quality will be driven from Sri Lanka. So Maliban biscuit knowledge and quality will be held together wherever we go in the globe, so that authenticate that it's a Sri Lankan biscuit but have been globalized. So that's the journey we want to go. The vision is that Maliban to go beyond boundaries, but be a local all the time. So being a local, but you have to perform in another country, it's a challenge, but it's a worthy challenge to take it rather than just doing an export business or a communication from here, but you don't really understand the ground realities there, or you're really not competing. So we don't mark our flag saying X many countries that we are present and we are so good. But what we believe is 1 or 2 big territories that we are there and we are strongly marketed and the brand being loved. That's what I believe as international marketing. So it's a journey, slow burner probably, but we will go that journey.
So with that, brings to the end of this session. Thanks so much for your time. We wish you and Maliban all the success.
Thank you. Thank you.
To have you again soon as well.
Thank you for having us and all the best to you.
With that, that brings to an end another episode of Change the Conversation. I'll be back next month with another marketing leader. I'll see you then.